Hi guys, today I'm going to introduce what is the admissions rate at Chinese universities. Firstly, let's compare what the admission rate is in US or UK. So if you look at Harvard or Stanford or Oxford, we can compare the numbers here, and you can see that in Oxford, for example, there were 23,000 students applying for undergraduate, and there were 3,300 spaces, so you can work out the acceptance rate from that. In China it's a little bit different because it's mostly decided on the Gaokao score, which is the high school entrance exam. And also each university gives a quota to each city around the country and each province. And so if you are from certain provinces, there's a quota for how many will go to each of these universities. And so it varies a lot. It's definitely much more competitive to get into Chinese universities for Chinese students compared to getting into the top ones in UK or US like Harvard or Oxford. So it's definitely in China it's less than 1% to get into these top universities. Even if you are in provinces that have a lower quota, it's definitely much more competitive. The admissions rate is the most competitive for undergraduate programs, but if you're an international student, it's going to be different, and if you're a master's student, it's going to be different as well. It's easier to get in for a master's program than a bachelor program. And as an international student, because you're doing it differently to in China, so it's going to be a different process of applying. So normally it's a completely separate process, depending on the exact program. Because in China, they have a big target. China has a very big target to get lots of international students coming to China, and they also want to make world-class universities. They have a double first-class plan to get 42 world-class universities by 2050. And so they're trying to attract a lot more international students to come to China. And just because there's a lot less students applying to Chinese universities every year, each year in China there's 10 million students who take the Gaokao. And at many of these top universities, this is for undergraduate, they may only have around 4,000 or 5,000 spaces. So you can see how competitive it is to get in. And it's mostly decided on the Gaokao score. So for international students, if you're applying for a Chinese language program, then the acceptance rate is very, very, very high. It could be 90 or 95% your chance of getting accepted. The only reason that you wouldn't get accepted is if you apply late and the spaces are full, or if you have some problem in your application process. For example, you don't prepare all of the documents correctly, or you don't reply after they contact you, something like this. This is for a basic Chinese language program. And then the more challenging programs is going to be the undergraduate programs, especially if they're in Chinese. It's going to be more competitive at the top universities. And then also the other competitive programs is going to be the MBA programs at the top universities, and the MBBS programs are very competitive as well. So those ones, it's going to be important to work out the acceptance rate. So at those universities, the acceptance rate varies quite a lot each year. And so for the MBBS programs, they may only have 100 spaces in that university. And the top ones, they may get lots more applications than they have spaces. So they're just going to give the spaces to the students who apply first, and those that have the highest grades, the strongest students. So for the acceptance rate, it's only really relevant for bachelor program, MBBS, MBA program. But then for most of the other programs, if you meet the entrance requirements, which are clearly stated on the university website, then you have a very high chance of getting accepted as an international student. And so that can bring you a lot of opportunities to come to China, and also because the tuition fee is also very low as well, so it's also very affordable. So, alright guys, thank you very much. I hope that was helpful.